It's Evan Mann with EMAG. Today we're talking about LARPing. We just had Dustin Miller of Outbreak Eastern. Thanks so much, Dustin. Be sure to check out that organization. Right now, we're talking with Robbie Hunter of Valhalla. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. I hope you were the same.
I am the same. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
You're making me feel a little underdressed here.
Oh, yes.
I'm really digging the attire. Tell me a bit about yourself. Maybe explain some of the wardrobe and just talk about Valhalla for us.
This is actually something I just put together for Valhalla, which is the organization that I am founder of and event coordinator for. It's something we've been doing for a long time. Until recently, it was really more of just something we did with me and some of my friends. We'd go out and we'd play around with some of these things we have here. This is advanced. These are some of the more advanced weapons that we have now. But it's really just, live action role-playing. We've invited a lot of people, and now we actually are doing it monthly on a basis, trying to organize and recruit. And we have probably about 18 to 20 players. Nice. It's around that much. It's not a huge number, but we have a lot of people interested. So mostly, we really try to create a community.
Yeah.
An environment where people can come out. You don't really have to fight if you don't want to. You can come out and just hang out with us. You can be whatever you want to be, pretend anything you really want. It's just an escape, a fun place to go, and we do have a lot of cool games that we fit into our scheduled events.
Okay, so tell me a little bit then about where and when you guys get together, how someone who wants to play can play.
The best way to keep track of what we're doing is to go to facebook.com/group/the new Valhalla. That's where we pretty much do all of our coordinating. I'm not really in charge of that. I'm not great with computers. But we have some really good people taking care of that. And they're really organized. And if you ask anyone there, they can hook you up with where we're playing, which at the moment is at Madison Elementary, which is in Westland, Michigan. And it's a big old lot in the background. There's a pretty thick forest and some play structures just to create some adversity of where we play and where we're at.
You said this just started up. You and a couple of your friends were kind of like, hey, we're hanging out. Let's do this. What made you say, like, let's take it to the next level, let's branch out, let's start inviting, or was it just sort of?
It's been a long process of us wanting more.
Yeah.
Because we've always been really involved in the things we do, hobby games and things like this, and we always just want that one more step. This literally started with I think 4 of us that went to a Halloween store and just got some plastic weapons. It was right after Halloween, and they were so cheap that we were like, we have to get some of these and just play around.
Right.
And we got hurt. That was the first thing that happened, is everyone was cut up, and we realized how bad of an idea that was, and it kind of just got swept under the rug. But eventually, we thought around on it, and I actually found a lot of videos online of people using a really primitive weapon, which people call speed bat now. We don't use them because they hurt still. But it's just a piece of PVC with a foam pool noodle put over it, and then you duct tape that up.
Sure. And
we spent probably about a good year, maybe a year and a half, just beating the crap out of each other with those. And it's fun, but they just get moving so fast, and it gets so competitive just because you're hitting each other with sticks.
And obviously, you want it to be a safe and fun experience for
everyone. We want the atmosphere. We want to feel like you are the Dark Prince fighting off a horde of whatever's coming at you. So I actually started building these.
Now, tell me a little bit about it. It looks like these are very particular in the way that they're made. How do you go about constructing a weapon that fits your needs and desires, but is still safe to use?
Actually, this is probably the best example. This is a pretty complicated one here.
Sure. Okay.
That's just going down.
Right. We'll get it.
This sword is a lot more decorative because it's actually one of the Emperor's swords.
Nice.
I made it special for him. I made all of the weapons so far, but most of them are a lot more simpler than this. It starts out with just 2 fiberglass rods.
Okay.
You can get them at any hardware store. You stick them in a driveway so people backing up in a truck can see them.
Yeah.
And you put 2 of those down the length, and it's actually foam camping mat.
Okay.
And you cut it in lengths, glue them together, cut it into any shape you want, and you tape it up. The rules for our weapons are on any edge that's a cutting edge, it has to have at least 2 inches of foam.
Sure.
That means it has all that give, so when it hits someone, it's not going to. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
that's one of the tougher ones,
sure.
and it's still something like this is really just very foam.
Yeah, may I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's cool because it's like solid enough probably to give a good sort of hit, but it's not going to hurt anyone.
The combat got a lot more exciting too when you make them like this, because instead of people just swinging them around, there's actually an edge.
Yeah.
And there's one part of the sword you actually have to hit them with, or even on this where it's a one-sided weapon. And from there, we had so much fun playing around with those that people would see us in the park and we'd have more people fighting coming out, and we decided, why not do this right? And we do it on the last Sunday of every month. So this month it will be on the 30th. And I'm actually excited this month because we have some promotional. These are the bracelets here. I'm going to be giving these out to members.
Nice.
So that one's for you right there.
Check that out. Can we get like a little happy shot of my face with this for like the promotionals? Just like, that's really cool.
Yep.
Valhalla.
And those will be going out to all the members, the people that come out to play. So that's an incentive to have people come out and hang out, play around.
For sure.
We're really excited because last month we really got most of our rules started to hammer it out. And we want to have like an overall gameplay.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of LARPing is just you go, you hang out, and you play through the short story, and you're done.
What are some of the rules that you have or different game styles that you play? Take me through some of that.
We want to really tie the entire event into one long story.
Okay.
Where every time we get together, it's going to be a new series of battles between these two armies.
Okay.
And you're going to join whatever team you want. You can change teams. You can start your own army if you think you can actually lead people. And that's the excitement on it. The basic gameplay is going to be based on the two leaders, which we have decided right now, and there's a few people that are mercenaries on their own. And it's pretty much like a chess game where there's different territories, or more like a game of Risk, but essentially protect your king and conquer the territories.
Sure.
And each time you fight for new places, there's different games. The basic structure of the game is if you get hit in the arm with a weapon, you can't use that arm.
Okay.
Pretty much as you would imagine, get hit in the leg, you can't use that leg. We highly discourage against strikes against the face. It happens sometimes because people duck unpredictably, but we really don't like to see that.
Sure.
That and throwing weapons, that's a lot of the things that we've played around with, we've tried, and there's a few stitches involved with that in particular.
What about things like if I've got a shield, can I use it to take any sort of hit, or is there a regulation if I have a shield I can only have like this sort of weapon?
I mean, with the way we play now, it's pretty much what you want to use.
Okay.
But as we institute the new rules we're setting up, and it's going to be more of a storyline, we're actually going to have people start out with a short weapon, which we actually don't have displayed here. It's probably a short sword would probably be about there.
Sure, like a one-hander.
Exactly, and you could probably use it two-handed if you wanted to, but the more you show up, the better you do, the more fun and creative that the moderators or the leaders of your army think you are. You're going to get promoted, you're going to get better weapons, and that's what we want people to come out and do what you want to get rewarded, and that's the atmosphere we kind of want to go for.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you're playing these games, and you guys you're just. It sounds like a really awesome time. What about? Tell me. I talked about your costume earlier.
Yes.
What have you seen? I mean, what do people do? How far out do people get?
We don't have too many people that go all out yet. So
Sure.
if people want to show up in a t-shirt and jeans, feel free to. It's not dress requirements.
Sure.
I like to because it's a lot more fun. People do treat you
Sure.
differently, and it keeps people in that atmosphere.
Definitely
It keeps
get
them
in
in
the
their
character.
character. Exactly. The other emperor, actually, my rival emperor. I'm not one of
Nice.
the emperors, but the one that I'm opposing to is a good friend of mine. He's really big into recreation and reenactment and stuff, and he wears a full chainmail dress.
No
It's
way.
like short sleeve chainmail. He has a helmet with giant bull horns that, of course, he takes off during combat because you don't want that running at you. But other than that, I mean, it's pretty much just throwing on a tunic or a lot of hockey pads, which makes you look pretty imposing.
Sure,
Things
I
like
believe
that
it.
we really love to see. And I mean, even if you want to just come out and watch sometime, it's fun to see, fun to hang out, and fun to do.
Absolutely. Where do you see this going in the near future, or even a while down the road?
We really hope to make this grow a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem getting to 50, 100 people. I think it would be a lot of fun. I think that it's going to be great. Obviously, it's going to be a lot more work on our part, but we're totally up for it. I mean, at that point, it's going to get pretty pricey with weapons, but that's also eventually if people want to request weapons and stuff. We'll be building an arsenal bigger and better. But we've also been scouting out locations. I know there's a few places that are a lot bigger parks, and we want to move to that eventually. So that it's easier to find, and we have more room for spreading out and going different places.
I'm curious too. I understand there are LARP type organizations that are all over the state or the region, and I wonder, is that something that you plan to do in the future? Is have contact a group and say, hey, let's get together and have a big game? Just
We
create a
absolutely
story?
would want to. I mean, I've talked to a few people that do it, and most people that I know that are interested are still in that beginning hanging out with your friend phase. As for the large organizations, it's really complicated. It'd be more like we just show up to their events. But absolutely, eventually, that's something we want to at least be on that level with.
No, it sounds like right now you guys are very much about personally what people want to do for their own selves, as well as having a group that they can feel a part of. I think that's really neat. And you said you guys meet in Westland?
Yeah, it's the Madison Elementary School building. The schools there got jumbled around, and it's just pretty much a sitting park there. The school isn't used. And there's a large parking lot. Actually, some of the footage you'll see is us fighting there.
Sure.
And there's some playscapes, which are fun to use as castles or what have you, and then a large forest in the back, which is where we do a lot of the fighting, just because it's a real simple layout, some hills and trees and things.
Well, I think we've got just a couple minutes left, but I'm curious. Will you maybe take me through one or two of the weapons here and just show me if I was wielding like that huge old battle hammer? Like, how would you suggest to go about something like that?
Well, a lot of the time, some of these bigger weapons, people seem drawn to them right away.
Yeah.
And I know I myself actually fight with a larger spear. And the problem with these, I mean, they seem so cool, but even with the fiberglass, there is a little flex to them. And you can see when they hit something that you're not going to have complete control of it. That's actually quite a bit of a swing. But you can feel if you were to hold on to that and you were to hit something, like hold it out.
Yeah. Oh,
it's pretty hard to hold on to.
Yeah, there's so much there.
This one's actually made a lot better. Like I said, this is an Emperor's blade.
That's really interesting. And what about this guy right here?
Oh, that is accounted for. This belongs to somebody, and this weapon is not up for grabs. But there's another one like it, and eventually I'll probably be making some more similar ones.
No, that's pretty. I like that because it seems like you could use it as a shield as well.
It actually works because you can press. It's a very aggressive weapon. You really press at your enemy, and your hands are protected, and there's really nowhere for them to swing.
Nice, yeah.
But yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah,
it's taken me down quite many times.
Take it out one-handed too, and just like.
Oh yeah, that's actually one of the problems with it right now is when I didn't think about it. You actually get almost a full.
Sure.
See, it's almost an inch. Oh, it's actually pretty close. I think it's the other one. But when it comes out to it, it's about as long as the sword.
Sure.
And then you have the handguard and the protection.
Almost an unfair advantage.
At the same time, it'd be next to impossible to use this with a shield. Which this, of course, is. This, and he'd hate me for wearing this, but this is our Emperor's. This is what he looks like when he addresses the battle. He's got armor, though. He is a frightful sight on the field.
That's awesome.
One of the few men that always takes me down.
Thank you so much, Robbie.
Absolutely.
For joining us here. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk us through this. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Robbie Hunter from Valhalla. Thanks so much, and thank you for joining us. Be sure to tune back in next week with EMAG. Take care.